for the men and women who wake up tomorrow morning and don't have a job to go to, when this finally passes, I think it'd be a good idea if the company that has been employing these folks still exists. Now, how's that going to happen when they are not allowed to have any revenue? They're closed. Now, for large businesses, we took a different approach. We said, all right, we can't actually pay for the entire payroll of the entire American workforce. That's like 150 million people. But here's what we can do. A big company, if it's solvent, if it's viable business, but it's in a cash crunch because, have I mentioned, they're not allowed to have sales. They're not allowed to have revenue. They have no customers. In many cases, if they could, I mean, the airlines, there's nobody flying. Think of hotels. There's nobody staying in hotels. But it's all across the entire economy. So what we did is we said, look, if you've got a viable business, we're going to have a program where we're going to lend you some short-term money, because this should not last long. You're going to have to pay it all back. But we want to keep you alive, this employer, so that when this is behind us and when we no longer have statewide shutdowns and when we're able to go back to work and go back to producing and living normally, it'd be really nice if these employers still exist. So that's what we created. The minority leader derisively called that a bailout, as he voted again to explain his vote against this. This is not a bailout. It's ridiculous to characterize this. First of all, they have to pay back every dime that they borrow. Every dime. It's explicit in the bill, in the law, that there can be no forgiveness. None of this can be written off. The companies that borrow this money have to pay back every dime. And let me stress, this is not their fault, okay? You're operating a business somewhere in Pennsylvania, and the governor says, by the way, close your doors at 8 o'clock Monday morning, and you don't reopen them until I say. Now look, I'm not trying to attack my governor. I understand why he's doing this. But the point is, it's not possible for a business to survive. And we're seeing this manifested, the sort of easy visual view on this that some of my colleagues have mentioned are financial markets, because they reflect what the world thinks about the future of our economy. And it's really, really grim. Some have suggested maybe we shouldn't focus on that. That's not the focus. That's just gives us a reading of just how bad things have gotten. And it's really bad. And when my Democratic colleagues came down here and voted against all of these programs and all of these efforts to rescue American workers and families, advance our fight against this disease, and keep employers viable, I was just shocked. I just can't believe that they would do that they would come down here. And I can only conclude that they don't understand the urgency of this moment. I think they got to understand the nature of the disease, the severity of the disease, what that is doing. Maybe there's a lack of appreciation for the fact that at the same time, our economy is being destroyed. Many of the, if they continue this obstruction and they refuse to let us pass this because they dismissively refer to keeping alive employers as a bailout, then a lot of these companies will fail and they won't come back. You don't just flip a switch and have a company that failed, that went bankrupt, and think you're going to turn it back on. It doesn't work that way. It could take years or decades to rebuild an economy. And that means how many millions of Americans lose out on so much opportunity, on so much of life. That's what we can't let happen. We've got to stop this as quickly as we can.